You are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild, Haitian in the building, so original. Got the haters catching feelings. Get your hands up to the ceiling and keep them held high, cause St. Louis isn't ready. Forget about it, goodbye. Hold up, we just saying hi. Five somebody, rise up. Weekdays, catch us live, somebody. Let's go.
Good morning. Good morning. Good afternoon and good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Pascal Show. Hope you guys all doing well out there. I hope this show finds you in good spirits, given the fact that we are talking about something that's very, very sad, very tragic. It's a very tragic topic today. I do hope this finds you guys in good spirits, okay? Because, yeah, we need that more than ever nowadays. I'm going to be completely real. We need that more than ever right now. But outside of that, we got to keep continuing this conversation that we had last night. We have some new updates. I told you guys if there were some new updates, I'd give you guys the information. Because, of course, this is all very important. There's been a lot of lives that were lost just a few days ago. And they deserve their recognition. And by saying their names out loud, I hope to God this gives people more incentive, more passion, more, I don't know, something to get off their butts and do something. Okay? All right? I just have to say that. Okay? So yeah, it's frustrating. And, you know, I do have a lighter pop-up video coming up to you guys later on this afternoon on something that's just ridiculous because I need a palate cleanser myself. But there are some other pop-up videos that I have surrounding this particular case, this particular story right here. So we will be talking about that here as well, just to give you guys a heads up so that you're not going, the hell is this video? You know, I need something to just bring some levity to the show, bring some levity to the week, just a tiny bit. We will still bring awareness, of course. We'll still be back into the dark stories and all that, as we usually are, back into the news. But yeah, just something a little bit lighter. Okay, guys. Yes, Grace said a lighthearted video would be much appreciated after all these sad situations. Yes. So we'll be having a little bit of fun in a pop-up video in a little while. But before that, okay, I do have some other updates revolving around this particular case or this particular tragedy. So just so you know, I'm giving you only a little bit on this show, and then I have basically like one or two pop-up videos for you guys. So be on the lookout for that because they are coming. Okay, after this show. Okay. So anyway, guys, before we get into everything, because of course we only have a few names. Okay, a few names of the victims in this tragedy. A few. So just so you guys know that as well. Hit that like button down below if you can. Just some housekeeping. Hit that. Send it past 300 likes as you guys start to file in. That would really, really mean a lot. And of course, do not forget to hit that subscribe button. It'd be great to have you a part of the Pascal Show family. Of course, please hit that notification bell. Set it to all so you know whenever I go live, whenever I upload. And there will be some uploads today. Okay? There's even a short that I'm even putting up. Yeah, surprise, surprise. There's going to even be a short that I'm going to be sharing with you guys in a little while. So be on the lookout. There's some work that is going to be done today, okay? And a lot of it is revolving around this tragedy. So if you want the updates and all that, they are coming to you today like a tidal wave, okay? And then, of course, there'll be a lighthearted story that is just bizarre that I felt like we have to talk about it. Okay, just for some levity, okay? So don't forget to do that. And of course, hit that join button down below, okay? That'd be greatly appreciated. You know, keeps these purple lights on. And hopefully we'll get some art on these walls here soon, okay? So anyway, I appreciate all y'all. Let's get into some stories here. Now, as we already know, there were 8 people I'm not even counting the monster right now. 8 people, 8 innocent lives that were lost at Allen Premium Outlets. It's an outlet mall in Allen, Texas. Okay, it's a very popular outlet mall. It was a beautiful day when this whole thing went down. Okay, beautiful day. But unfortunately, a lot of people were injured and a lot of people lost their lives. Now, we do have some new names or some names of the victims. They're slowly trickling out. Okay. We are going to be getting to know 2 of the victims very, very shortly. And then also, I do have an interview from a survivor of this situation where ex-military gentleman that went towards the fire was trying to help, trying to aid some of these victims. Okay. And so we are going to be listening to that as well, just to give you guys a fair heads up. But before, oops, let me make sure that echo does not happen. So that's off. But let me get into some of these super chats. Thank you guys so much for the super chats and for the members chats. I'm going to go to the member chats here in just a minute. But Tyler, thank you so much for the 2. Thank you for feeding us during this trying time. Of course. You know, trust me, I would love to be talking about Chris Brown and Usher, you know, going allegedly going to fisticuffs and stuff like that. But these are more important stories than 2 pop stars just smacking each other. You know what I'm saying? So we got to talk about the things that matter in this world. And Chris Brown and Usher will be just fine. Okay. They will live to speak and sing and tap dance another day, whereas a lot of these individuals here will not. Okay. But trust me, you know, we talk about those things too on this show. Just haven't had time, because these are more important. Grace, thank you so much for the 5. Thank you for bringing attention to all these stories / tragedies. I feel like too many are caught up in trials, forgetting present day issues sometimes. Okay, so let me just say this. I agree. I mean, not that I agree, but I hear you. Let me just say that, because we need us content creators covering like the Letitia Stout case. We do need that. But then you also need shows like mine that are talking about other things outside of the Letitia Stout situation, because I understand how much time and energy it takes to sit there for an 8-9 hour boring trial. Okay, let's be real. I've done it before. We did the AH and JD, you know, Amber Heard, Johnny Depp situation, and that took my soul. That sucked my soul out of my body. Okay. It's a lot of energy. So I commend all those people who are covering those stories, but they can't cover both things at the same time. It's literally impossible. You know, it's literally impossible. So it's either you go full all the way in on the trial, or you are going and covering the things that are going on in the world that need to be covered as well. I decided, since there's some really great content creators covering, like, for example, the Letitia Stout situation, I'm like, all right, I'm going to cover the things that are going on in the world, so you at least have something that you can take a break from, while, you know, take a break from the chaos and the wild stuff that's going on in that trial. And I know that right now, everybody. So again, Grace, thank you so much. I do appreciate the $5 super chat. I really do appreciate it. But you know, we kind of need both, right? We kind of need both. Hold on one second. Nicole B, thank you so much for the $2 super chat. Jumping on the super chat bandwagon. Thank you, P. Hey, no problem. I appreciate it as well. Thank you so much for the 2. Okay. I'm going to be reading these members chats here really, really shortly. But like I said, it is, I think it's incredibly important. And I know right now there is a verdict watch right now. So there's a lot of dead space. Okay. While people are wanting to get justice for Gannon, hashtag Gannon strong. Okay. You know, I'm still watching and keeping tabs on the big moments that have happened in that trial, but I'm not watching the 8 to 9 hour stuff. I just, unfortunately, this trial just did not fit into my schedule. but there may be one in the future that I might be following throughout the entire case. But that's another month or so from now. Okay. Bailey Boy's mom, or Bail Boy's mom, thank you so much for being a member for the past 2 months. You said, this is absolutely heartbreaking. My son found the video that you spoke of that should not be watched. I was physically ill. Twitter is banned now. I mean, it is bad. The footage, it is bad. And I get it that we need to have that realization, that wake up call that we are in we're in a really bad situation with these types of tragedies that are constantly happening. And I get it that we need to have the veil ripped out from off of our eyes so we can actually see the harsh realities of what's going on. But at the same time, the other part of me thinks, this is somebody's parent. This is somebody's loved one. This is somebody's child. There are children in these videos that we should not be looking at. Okay. We shouldn't. I don't think so. Or at least put a blur, mosaic that ish, censor it, and then put it out. And I get it. There's both sides of the fence. You can see both sides. We need to see the harshness of it so that it motivates us to do something about it. And then there's also the other side of like, hey, this could trigger somebody else to do something worse. If they might like that visage, they might like to see these images and go, yeah. And then they go out and they do another tragedy. You know what I mean? So I feel like it's damned if you do, damned if you don't. But I err on the side of just censor the footage, because there are people out here, that is someone's child, that is someone's loved one. We should respect them too. That's just what I think. Judy Barton. Oh, and also one other thing. There's the other thing too. The story I just did as a pop-up video last night. Please go and check that out. But I talked about a SUV running through a crowd of people, a crowd of migrants. Okay. It is devastating. That footage is out there too, not censored or anything. So you can see just really disturbing footage. We don't need to see that, but it's out there. Like I said, censor it or something, I don't know, but that's just me. Or at least put a age restricted wall. So if you really want to see it, if you clicked okay, or you clicked confirming your age or whatever it is, hey, that's on you if you want to have those images in your brain. Okay. But yeah, I just say when you go and you're looking for these things, tread very, very lightly. Tread through with caution. But please go and check out my pop-up video on that. And I'm telling you right now, there's no graphic images in that video, just so you know. Okay. Judy Barton, thank you so much for being a member for the past 7 months. Hi, Pascal. I wish you all a blessed day. Thank you. So do you. Mass situations like this are starting to happen in Europe as well. The whole world has gone mad. Yes, it is a mad world. And I don't know what the hell is going on. Okay. I really don't know what's going on with the energy in the world and all that, because I don't think everybody's evil. I don't think everybody's out here bad. I just feel like we have the bad that just seems to be sprouting out. Those weeds are sprouting out a lot more than us, than us good people out here. And it's really, really sad. But I digress. I appreciate you guys, and I appreciate all the love. Let me scrub through here, making sure I'm not missing anybody. Okay, cool. So again, thank you so very much. But we do have a few names and all that. But I do want, okay, so one thing I do want to point out real quick, before we go all the way into into the information on the victims that have been mentioned and have been identified, their names have been released. There is something that I do want to talk about, and it is about Mauricio Garcia, okay, the monster. Now, one thing I have to say is there is a photo that's circulating out here of a man named Mauricio Garcia, But from my understanding, it is not the Mauricio Garcia that went in and did this carnage a couple days ago. So people are sharing this mugshot of an individual that actually is not Mauricio Garcia. But I'm also wondering why they have not released a face. There has not been a photo of Mauricio Garcia. I have yet to see anything with his face on it. And I will say this, no disrespect to his name, to his family's last name or anything like that. But Mauricio Garcia is a very common name. There are other Mauricio Garcias in the world, just like there are plenty of John Smiths on this planet. You know, Mark Smith. Okay. Plenty of people out here in this world that are named Mauricio Garcia. And they also could have rap sheets. They also could have mugshots out here in these streets. Okay. So I want to make that abundantly clear because I have yet to see anything. I'm serious. I have yet to see anything with Mauricio Garcia's face. None of these news articles, none of these periodicals that I've been scouring the internet trying to get a photo, a face with the name. I have yet to see that. But there are some people out here that are trying to make it seem like this guy was something more for their own political agenda, for their own narrative. And they got the wrong guy. That's what's funny about it. They got the wrong guy. At least as far as I checked. But there are a few other places that I would say are not credible news sources that have been sharing that same photo, being like, oh, this is the guy. When you look at other articles, you're looking at New York Times, you're looking at Washington Post, you're looking at anything, the New York Post even, okay? I have yet to see anything where they show his face. So I'm still waiting to see a photo of his face. We got his name, but no photos so far. Okay? So I just want to make that clear as well. But for those of y'all who missed yesterday's show, just a quick recap. Who was this monster? His name is Mauricio Garcia. He is 33 years old, and that's the other thing. There's a mugshot out here showing a Mauricio Garcia, and on his mugshot, underneath, it says his actual age. It says of this other guy. He's 35 years old. That is not this guy. You see what I'm saying? Wrong photo, wrong person. Okay? So let me just make that abundantly clear. Okay. So he's 33 years old, and he was living in Dallas, Texas. Authorities believe he was acting alone when he opened fire at the mall. He was known to wear a uniform often, according to his neighbors in Dallas. He worked as a security guard, but it's currently unclear for who. Police and FBI have raided his home in Dallas where he was with his parents. He was living with his parents, 33 years old. Not sitting there saying that's a bad thing. I'm just saying he was living with his parents, living with his mama. He drove a gray Charger, which was seen at the scene and also was often parked outside his parents' home address. Investigators now believe he may have been a white supremacist or neo-Nazi who followed extremist ideologies because of the badge that he had on his, I guess he had some stickers and badges on his clothing and on, I guess, on his gun or something like that, where they were looking at it and saying, hey, you know, this follows, this acronym is the title of an extreme right-winged group. And I know a lot of us, like even I said last night, I mean, if he is Latino, if he is Mexican, from my understanding, he is Mexican. and he is also a white supremacist. And I said it out loud. I was like, oh, this is like a Clayton Bigsby type of situation. This doesn't make any sense, right? But let's not forget, we had the Proud Boys. I got to be careful when I say that too. One of their main guys, their main guys is Latino as well. Okay. Just saying. He is a person of color as well. So it does exist. It does exist. It does exist. But outside of that, okay, there are a few people whose names have finally been released. Okay. So I wanted to share that with you as well. Some of the names, and I'll show you her face. Okay. Let me pull this up. Hold on. This is one of the victims. Okay. Aishwarya Tatikonda. Okay. She is from India. She was an engineer student from India. Okay. Or sorry, she's an engineer. Sorry. She's an engineer from India. Okay. She's one of the many that lost their life in this tragedy. So she lost her life in the carnage at the Outlet Mall, of course. Her demise was confirmed by a representative from the Telugu Association of North America, a group that serves the Telugu community. Hopefully I'm saying that correctly. And is assisting her family. So Tatikonda, an engineer working in Dallas, completed a master's degree in Eastern Michigan University in 2020, according to her LinkedIn profile. Her family will have her remains sent to India, the representative said. Beautiful young woman who lost her life shopping, innocently shopping, everybody. Innocently shopping. We got another one. Okay, his name is Christian LaCour. He was a security guard at the mall. A security guard at the mall. He's described as a beautiful soul, according to his grandmother. And he's, of course, one of the other victims that lost his life there, too. He was a security guard at the mall. His grandmother, Sandra Montgomery, wrote on Sunday. She remembered him as a beautiful soul with goals for his future. And, of course, she asked for prayers for their very close family. I know this is almost unbearable, she wrote. Now, we do have some other names that have recently been released as of late. There's a Korean husband and wife, and their 3-year-old son were identified as victims in this massacre. Yeah. So let's get into that too. 3 members of the same family were shot and unalived in Texas, in the Texas massacre, leaving a 5-year-old boy an orphan. In the Korean consulate in Dallas confirmed that Mr. Cho and Miss Kang were both unalived in the massacre, along with their 3-year-old son. Let me just say this. Majority of the family gone, except for one child, a 5-year-old boy that is now without his mom and his dad, including losing his 3-year-old brother. Authorities have not yet released their full names, and their eldest son, five, is currently being treated at the hospital and is in serious condition following the rampage in Allen, Texas. So this kid caught was injured too during this whole thing. I'm trying to say it in the nicest way, most kindest way possible. But dag nabbit, I mean, these are the harsh realities of the world that we're living in now. 5-year-old kid was hit, and he's fighting for his life right now as we speak. Also enduring, I'm sure at some point, he's going to wake up to the absolute horror that both his parents are gone and his baby brother gone. He has no one now. Now, there's some more details about Ayeshwara. So I wanted to read that really quick. So, of course, we already know she's originally from India. She had been shopping for her upcoming birthday. She was shopping for her birthday. She moved to Dallas 2 years ago to work as a project engineer at Perfect General Contractors. And she was shopping with her friend at the Allen Premium Outlets on Saturday morning when this monster took fire, or opened fire, sorry. She was very friendly and very loving. A family representative told WFAA, adding that Ayeshwara, her friend, was injured in this tragedy and is currently stable in the hospital. Lacour, Christian, the mall security guard, okay, was one of the first victims of this mass tragedy to be identified yesterday. With his grandmother, of course, we already said before, describing him as a beautiful soul. She said, my beautiful grandson, Christian, was the security guard unalived in the shooting in Allen, Texas. He was such a beautiful soul, she wrote. In another tribute posted Sunday, one person who is friends with Lacour's family said he was a very sweet gentleman. Kelly Smith said she considers herself lucky to have watched this sweet young boy turn into such a very sweet gentleman. The woman wrote on Facebook, there will forever be a void. Please uplift this family in prayer as they navigate this unimaginable time of their lives. Christian will always remain close to us because we will keep you in our hearts until we see you in heaven. This is what Kelly Smith wrote. So as you can see, not all the names have fully come out, which is, and I'm not sitting here saying that we need to have everything right off the bat, but it is something interesting to consider, okay, to internalize that the carnage was so gruesome. It's so bad that they're still trying to identify certain people. Of course, they have some names. We've heard about, let me pull that down again, Mr. Cho and Miss Kang, a mother and father who were gunned down. But they have not released their full names yet, and I feel like they're doing that out of respect to family because they want to make sure family get the notification first before they see it all over the news or all over Facebook, because that's apparently how everybody's learning about their friends and family being part of these tragedies as of late. But of course, they're going to do everything they can to identify and all that too. But I think they're trying to contact next of kin and all that before they actually jump into just, here's the names, here's the picture of their faces, blah, blah, blah. But that's the one thing I'm still trying to figure out is why Mauricio Garcia, this monster that did all this carnage, why isn't his face plastered all over the place? When Audrey Hale did what she did at the Covenant, just for example, small example, when Audrey Hale did what she did at the Covenant Elementary School, Seconds later, it seems like her face was all over the news. We saw her face. We saw multiple photos of her all over the place. Maurizio Garcia. Why is his name? Isn't his face plastered all over the internets right now? All over the news. What's up with that? That seems a bit weird. Now, I'm not trying to throw in speculation or conspirize. Okay, I'm just saying, why hasn't there been a photo and more detail about this guy, about this monster? The only details that we know so far is that he was kicked out of the army for mental health issues, but he was still able to obtain an AR-15. He was still able to obtain a security guard job in which he's supposed to have a license for. So they didn't do a background check on him, do a psych eval or anything of that sort. What's up with that too? How was he able to go and obtain a gun and run around in these streets? That makes no bloody sense, love. None. So that is, wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5. And of course, that they have not fully named Mr. Cho and Miss Kang and the 3-year-old son that lost their lives. They have not done that yet, but 2 have definitely been identified, okay, as Christian and as Aishwara, okay? And of course, I'm sure I'm butchering her name, and I mean no disrespect, but it does make it seem, it does irk my soul. It does bother me that we have yet to see his face, his identity. I find that a bit weird. I find that a little bit weird. Hold on one second, guys. Okay. All right. So that's just something I'm trying to figure out and trying to understand because, again, it just seems a bit odd. Unless because I know that he had his own social media accounts and whatnot, and all of it had very questionable things, very extreme ideologies, certain things that were leaning towards certain narratives, if you catch my drift. But maybe he never put any photos of his face. Maybe his face was never seen, right? But that is a bit odd to me. I find that a bit odd. Okay? There's got to be something with his face somewhere around here. And why hasn't that been put out? I just got questions, guys. I got questions. Okay? Let me check out some of your. Yeah, see, I'm thinking maybe something like that too, Sean. You know, I wonder if there is some sort of thing that was triggering him that he was watching or looking at. If he was also putting out certain things that revolve around that type of narrative, those type of ideologies. I mean, there's a good possibility he was the extremist of the extreme. Okay, he was extreme right. Okay, off the grid extreme right. That could have triggered him to do what he did, which makes no sense, you know. But still trying to wrap my mind around that. Okay. So there could be that too. Okay. Grateful said, I've seen the pic of the evil man. I'd like to see the pic of the evil man then too, because I have yet to see that. Unless they just put it out just recently, I have yet to see it. Okay. And actually I'm checking here too. Hold on. Sorry, just checking. Because sometimes you guys like to email me stuff and it's like, there's the face. And it's like, oh, See, I complained about it for 10 minutes, and then suddenly they finally release his identity, his face, right? But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter, right? Because evil, he's still just evil. But at the same time, um, I do find it weird how slow it is to get things moving. Now, the thing is I do want to show you guys this. This is from a survivor that was a part of, was there. This brave soul ran towards the chaos, ran towards the fire to render aid to a lot of these victims. I'm going to be in and out of this because this is CBS Mornings. It is Gail, shout out to Gail. Okay, she's having this interview with one of the survivors there. He is ex-military, if my memory serves me correctly, but I will be hopping in and out. Okay, I will be, popping in and out with my own commentary with what he's saying throughout this thing. But still, this is just devastating stuff. Bella Chow, thank you so much for the 5. I really do appreciate the $5 super sticker. Thank you so very much. Okay, so let's rock and roll on this, shall we? And hit that number 1. Let me know you guys can hear this. Let's get it on and popping.
Another city. 8 people were killed, as you've heard. 7 others were wounded in that mass shooting at a premium outlets mall in the Dallas suburbs before a police officer who happened to be there on another call killed the gunman. Joshua Barnwell was shopping at the outlets with a friend on Saturday, and we are very grateful, and grateful is the word, that he can join us today. Joshua, by the way, is a U.S. Navy veteran and immediately rushed to help the victims. Joshua, it is so good to see you.
Real quick, I do want to say, though, too, thank you so much for letting me know that you guys can hear this. Please hit that like button down below. Send it past 300 likes. That would really mean a lot. Okay, I got some more information in a pop-up video after this show, so be on the lookout for that. Just bringing some more awareness on a specific topic here, revolving around this tragedy. So please do me a favor and be sure to know about that. Hit that like button down below. Send it past 300 likes. Hit that subscribe button. Okay, don't forget to hit that join button. Become a member. That'd be greatly appreciated. All right. And Bella Chow, thank you for being you, Pascal. No, thank you for being you too. Okay. Without you guys here, I'd be talking to a wall. Real talk. I'd be looking at a glass and plastic. That's basically what I'm looking at right now. Okay. Real talk. So thank you so much for being here and being a part of the conversation. Okay. Let's rock and roll. Let's see what he's got to say.
Thank you so much.
So I'm thinking, when you went to the mall on Saturday, there's no way you thought you would be sitting here on national TV talking to us about this Monday morning. So take us to that moment. When did you realize it was gunshots and realize we have a problem here?
So I was walking with my friend past to one store, and when we had reached a particular location, I'd heard 2 pops go off, and at that time I was unsure. I had looked over towards the north of me, and I'd seen what looked like, adolescents running. So briefly I thought it might have been a prank. But then nearly instantly after that, the massive rapid gunfire began to occur. And at that point, I just shy of threw my friend behind a concrete pillar, a covering support for the walkway, and got behind there myself and was basically shouting at anybody that was around me to take cover, to get down. And while I was behind this wall, I went to dial 911. I got through to 911 and let them know what was happening. And after I was disconnected from 911, I sent out an SOS message on my phone to my emergency contacts, leaving a voicemail of basically, we're down, we're under fire. Right now, we're okay. Mass shooting, to that respect, was the voicemail that went out when this first occurred.
I know, but Joshua, let's just stop on that for a second. You're in the middle of a mass shooting. For most people, it's just a story we read on the news, and then people go on to the next thing. I've heard you say it's important that people hear the details of how horrible this is, because I don't really think people understand how horrible this is. Can you share that part of the story from your perspective?
So when we initially had believed that the situation had subsided or ended, and I made my way north across the parking lot because there was just something that I can't explain. That was like, I want to go to where I believe this gunfire had came from, and so I was walking towards what would be the H&M store. And I saw the glass that had been completely obliterated and shot out. And that's when I looked over, and there was an area where a landscaped area right next to that store. And I saw a woman who was literally, folded over where she had been shot and killed, and basically just fell over, basically where the term, dead where they lie come from. And then after I had noticed her, I then saw another man who was shot in his shoulder that was on the ground and struggling. And next to him was a small child, approximately 7 to 8 years old, who was lying there. And I wasn't sure if she was still with us. Next to her was an adult female who was very heavily wounded. And then draped onto her, close to her head, was another young female, face down. And then not far from her, adjacent to her feet, was another adult male shot. And he was on top of a adult female who was, by all appearances at that time, already deceased. And there was an approximately 5 to 6 year old young man who was just covered from head to toe in blood. And what I would later learn, the blood of his mother and his father. And so I immediately went to the conscious woman who had requested that I attend to her daughter. And I looked over, and their daughter, who appeared almost at that point to already be what we call hypoxic. But I started doing chest compressions and mouth to mouth. When I did that, the amount of blood that came out of her backside, because her front side appeared clear, but the amount of blood that came out of her backside was unbelievable. And I knew at that time that she had left us.
Okay. I need a little bit of a break. Sorry. This is really intense. And the thing is I've already listened to this before we did this, before we went live. But even just hearing it, I had to take a break because he just goes and he's just saying exactly what he saw, which I commend him, the way he's able to disconnect in a way and just say exactly like this is his military training, but also it's a lot to take in when you're hearing about and he's seeing all this. And what he's describing right now, let me just make this abundantly clear. What he is describing right now is exactly that video that's being shared all over the internets right now that I'm talking about, saying we shouldn't be seeing that, because it is just the images alone. I mean, even how he's describing it right now. If you have a heart, you are affected. Okay, even a man who has seen everything, as you can even see here, he's even just trying to say what he needs to say, but you can tell he's not. He is trying to be disconnected, but he's not. Who in their regular day is prepared to see that, even if you've been through war, the most gruesome of war? At least when you're in war, you know what you're expecting. You're expecting to see horror. You're expecting to you switch off that emotional, you turn off that emotional switch. Okay. But when you're out here just getting ice cream and new jeans and some shirts with your family, you're not prepared for this. Because even when you hear it from him, yeah, he's reliving it. You can see it, how he's looking down. He's going through the images in his mind all over again. And I'm sure he's trying to stay strong. This is what he has to do he's ex-military, but at the same time, like, man, this is shoot, even myself, I'm like, yo, okay, hold on, time out. This is getting intense. And it's just extremely tragic. But imagine a war zone at a mall. Are our children supposed to be a part of that? I'll leave that question up to you guys to answer.
And
Joshua,
I immediately went back. Yes.
Joshua, you were talking about this very coherently. I know that you're a Navy veteran, so you may be used to this kind of thing. But most of us, honest to God, I've never seen a dead body. I've never seen anybody shot. And you certainly don't expect to see this at the friggin' mall. You know, you're going to the mall.
Right.
You don't expect that.
She just said freaking. I just want you to know, you can tell this is tough, y'all. And even so, she's breaking the silence, or sorry, not the silence. She's breaking her silence, but she's breaking his monologue. She's jumping in because, my Lord, like, that's a lot to take in. I'm sure those producers in her ear were like, yo, you need to jump in because this is a lot to take in one sitting. This is a morning show kind of thing. We ask them a question to break the intensity of this, at least that's how I see it. But let me continue.
So how are you processing this? How has it changed you, if at all? It gives me chills just listening to what you're telling us.
Yeah, I tend to turn to basically to just a pure logic in a situation like this. I try to take out any emotion personally and just let it process through my mind in a logical format, even though it appears illogical, because I find the logic in it, and that's how I'm coping.
Well, now that you're a member of the
that's why I'm able to communicate.
Well, we appreciate you sharing what you're sharing, as horrible as it is to hear. And now that you've been through it, what do you think it will take? I mean, it's an ongoing conversation. Nobody seems to know the answer to this question. But now that you've been through it and you've seen it up close and personal.
I don't know if there is any magic pill. I mean, we can speculate till dawn whether or not, I mean, it seems obvious that there's obviously mental health problems that need to be addressed that have been long overlooked. But as far as any other magic pill that's going to cure this, I couldn't tell you, and I wouldn't want to speculate.
Did you think you were safe at the mall when you went out with your friend that morning? Did you think that you were safe in a safe place?
Of course. I'm at a very nice mall in a very respectable area that's not known for, any acts of violence or anything even remotely close to this. So yeah, naturally, this was the third stop for the day. We hadn't had any problems. I didn't really think that anything was going to occur outside of the normal.
Mm-hmm. Why did you want to share your story with us this morning, Joshua?
Well, because traditionally speaking, it's very difficult to get somebody who could not only who was there, who was really there firsthand in the action, but where there is a way to communicate without the emotion, so that people can understand the true depth of the depravity, and my hope in that they have that understanding of really how far and how bad it got, that there'll be a greater emotion, and hopefully with that emotion and that understanding, maybe we can edge, towards some sort of end, a goal to where we can maybe start to stop this kind of action.
Yeah, depravity is the word. How are you changed by this? Did you sleep last night?
I did sleep last night, and I couldn't tell you now necessarily how it may or may not change me going forward. I can't predict that, but I would be astonished if, again, my already normally overly observant self becomes even more observant and more conscious, even more so than I already was and always have been, about my surroundings.
Joshua, thank you so much.
And I feel like a part of this, like with what he's saying here, because I want to repeat that last part, not the part about him like keeping his head on a swivel, because that's basically what he's trying to say. But the piece that they were talking about as far as like gun control, mental health, all that, he does say quite a bit of thought-provoking things in one piece. But he is right. I mean, we live in a time where now, I mean, even himself, he's a survivor of a mass tragedy. Him more than ever is going to be keeping his head on a swivel. You can't sit there and just trust any normal, swanky, low crime area anymore. Now, violence finds you. Crime is finding us now. It's not like we just go down a notoriously known, dangerous part of town, or go drive down a street that's notoriously known for violence, and then find ourselves in that trouble. These streets now, the danger is just following us everywhere. The danger is following us when we're going and getting ice cream with our kids. Dead serious. He's now going, okay, now, the veil's been ripped off. Now I have to be absolutely 110% cautious of wherever I go now, because the violence will find us instead of us going to a place where there's violence, where it's known to be a violent area. Doesn't exist anymore. These are the sad and tragic times that we live in now. And until we come to some sort of realization as a people, there are going to be more people like him and others that are going to have the veil ripped off their eyes against their will, because they'll be talking to a Gayle King or a Stephanopoulos or something, okay? Talking about how they dodged bullets before they actually realize, like, whoa, this stuff is getting really bad and it's getting very, very dangerous. But I do want to play that piece, that last piece that he said, because I wanted to hear his thoughts on that one more time.
And it's an ongoing conversation. Nobody seems to know the answer to this question. But now that you've been through it and you've seen it up close and personal.
I don't know if there is any magic pill. I mean, we can speculate till dawn whether or not. I mean, it seems obvious that there's obviously mental health problems that need to be addressed that have been long overlooked. But as far as any other magic pill that's going to cure this, I couldn't tell you, and I wouldn't want to speculate.
Did you think you were safe at the mall when you went out with your friend that morning? Did you think that you were safe, in a safe place?
Of course. I'm at a very nice mall in a very respectable area that's not known for, any acts of violence or anything even remotely close to this. So yeah, naturally, this was the third stop for the day. We hadn't had any problems. I didn't really think that anything was going to occur outside of the normal.
Why did you want to share your story with us this morning, Joshua?
Well, because they're traditionally speaking, it's very difficult to get somebody who could not only who was there, who was really there firsthand in the action, but where there is a way to communicate without the emotion, so that people can understand the true depth of the depravity, and my hope in that they have that understanding of really how far and how bad it got, that there'll be a greater emotion, and hopefully with that emotion and that understanding, maybe we can edge, towards some sort of end, a goal to where we can maybe start to stop this kind of action.
So he's saying, I'm going to say this because I see some of you guys saying in the comments, this is the reason why I wanted to bring this up. because I see some of you guys saying like he's just saying this without emotion. I disagree. I think this man is just trying to give us all the facts on what happened. I see internal conflict, internal emotion with this guy. I do see it, but I also see him saying, I have to give them the information. I'm on this show. I'm sure he's not a correspondent. Okay. So I'm sure this is his first time on camera on a nationally televised show live. I'm sure he's nervous, but he's also going, okay, I got to give you guys the information because that's what you asked me to come on here to do. So I'm telling you exactly verbatim what happened. Almost clinical, but you know for a fact he's reliving it. He's looking down at the ground. No, he's not reading any teleprompter or any type of cue cards, anything like that. Just lay all that BS to rest. He is reliving that stuff in his mind. He's looking down and he's reliving it. And I'm sure he is battling within himself to maybe stop getting emotional. Then on top of it, he says, I'm saying this in hopes that this can be a wake-up call for all of us. And of course, I'm paraphrasing, okay? But he said, I'm hoping that that by me giving you guys the very gruesome details, this can inspire us to make a change for the better so that our children and our children's children, our children's children are okay. Instead of us going every single day to this kind of possible carnage. He even said he went to 3 different places. That was his 3rd stop. Everything was cool. Everything was Gucci that day. Having a great old day, accomplishing, knocking out whatever errands he had to run, and then he runs into this type of tragedy. We got to stop doing this like this BS of like, oh, it's this guy's fake and he's doing this, and this. Like, we got to stop entertaining this BS of like crisis actors and all this crap. Seriously, the footage, the images, etc., is graphic enough, mind-blowing enough. This person went through hell when he's not even deployed somewhere and being a part of war. War came right to his face, and he saw carnage on young kids, women, and children, all innocent lives. They were not the enemy. They were all civilians. At some point, I mean, I'm hoping at some point a story like this goes out to the elected officials, the powers that be, that will finally shake the rafters, okay, of our government buildings, that will make them go, we need to make some change happen. And instead of it being, oh, it's their fault, instead of pointing blame across the aisle, they're actually reaching across the aisle and making some things happen. Period. Because we got to agree, this is getting absurd. This is at the point of absurdity. Okay? This is not something that just happens once in a blue moon. This is happening almost every single day. On average, actually, every single day. We're past the point of absurdity. Okay? We're way past that. When is there going to be actual change? When are we going to look at this and listen to this with an open heart and an open mind, instead of it being some judgmental BS? This man went through hell, and he went through hell with a lot of other people. And there are so many other people that are telling their story, and I'm sure we'll be coming out with more stories here soon that lived through this. I have another story that I'm going to be doing as a pop-up as well here in just a little bit. And it's of a woman who was there and survived, and how she survived was because of somebody else. And that's as far as I'm going to get on that story, because I'm going to tell you guys that in the pop-up video. But at the same time, when are we going to listen as a people? And instead of us getting mad at each other, we actually work together. Instead of it being, oh, my gun, my rights. I get it. I get it. Okay? I get it. But there's some people that should not be holding a gun. It shouldn't. And he also said something else too there, which I do agree. He said, hey, man, like, we are not in a place. We are not in a place. Or he said, I don't know the magic pill. Because there really isn't a magic pill. There isn't. Some people will sit here and say it's the gun that's doing the damage. And some other people will sit there and say it's the person that's doing the damage. It's both, guys. It's both. It's both. And there's got to be balance. And there's no balance right now. None. We are constantly losing many, many people that we love because somebody just feels like they want to do some damage. Now, the other thing, too, is we have yet to hear anything we haven't heard anything from about the identity, like as far as who this guy is. We have gotten a few things so far about this monster, but we don't even have a photo of him yet. People have been sharing things like a mug, though, that are not him, which I will show you guys, because why not? Why not? We are getting people sharing some BS, and they're trying to spin it in some messed up kind of way. And it should not be this way. It shouldn't. But they're trying to spin it in a way to make it seem like, oh, it's, they're trying to make it a political thing. Let me show you what I mean. So as you can see right here, this guy right here is another guy by the name of Mauricio Garcia. This, I repeat, this is not the Mauricio Garcia that went out and opened fire on a whole bunch of people. But this guy, whoever this dude is, okay, had to post this and try to make it seem like, oh no, it's just another illegal going across the border, causing havoc. Close the border, right? He says this monster in Allen, Texas, is a Mexican nationalist criminal gang member, and the left wants you to believe he's a white supremacist. Close the border. Really? We're really there? How about we find out for sure that this is the guy or is not the guy? And I'm telling you right now, it says right underneath, it says that he's 35 years old. And until I'm told otherwise, this is not the man, because this is not because Mauricio, the monster that did this, was a 33-year-old. Okay? But what's crazy is everybody's going to try to turn this. This is the problem that we live in. And this is the issue that I have. This is why I get angry and frustrated. And it sucks, because whenever I talk to you guys about things that are a little bit politically polarizing, some of you guys just shut me off. Some of you guys, I'll unsubscribe. I'm not listening to this guy anymore. And it's like, wait a second. Take a listen for a second, because you got to understand, there's people putting out BS that has no confirmation whatsoever so far of this guy. And they're trying to turn it into a political thing. Oh, this is the reason why, because he jumped the border. Let me tell you, the border has nothing to do with this. This is a serious issue. Again, okay? He was discharged from the Army. This 33-year-old man was discharged from the U.S. Army. This is not some illegal hopping across a border so that he can wreak havoc. Again, this was a U.S. Army. This was a guy discharged from the U.S. Army. Okay? You could basically say ex-military. And you got people sitting here saying this type of stuff? It veers us off the course of what we should be focusing on, guys. Totally veers us off the course. See, this is what they're trying to do to us. This is what they're trying to do. Instead of us focusing on the situation at hand, they're too busy trying to turn it around to make it seem like it's something else. Oh, it's another agenda. No, it's not. This is a man that was discharged from the U.S. Army, was still able to get his hands on a rifle legally. I'm assuming legally. He was also a security guard in which he's supposed to be licensed to do so, to do that job. How did he finesse through that, guys? How? So, as I was saying before, we got to stop looking at the ridiculous, shiny objects that are on the side of the road if we are trying to go towards a specific goal. Instantly, we are veering off to the side going, well, this person said, that person. It's like, no, we shouldn't be listening to any of that. Focus. Because this is the reason why we're losing focus. And then we're focusing on our own political agendas, our own political views. We become super biased on that particular thing. And it turns into an incredibly polarizing discussion when this should be a universal agreement that what's going on out here in these streets has gone berserk. And there needs to be a change. But instead, people out here in these streets, these snakes in the grass, want to spin it into something more for their own political reasons. Oh, crisis actors, they're fake, they're this, and this. He wasn't really there. He was doing this. No, this guy came across the border and did all this damage when they have no proof of that. They're trying to avert our eyes to get us away from the common goal that we all want to have, which is our children and our lives to be safe. That's it. Sorry for the rant, but I just needed to say that. Do not pay attention to the BS that's out here on the twits or on the internets, on these social medias. Until they have proof positive, the identity, news gives us this, the law enforcement releases his photo and whatnot. Don't listen to this muck, because it's just muck, y'all. But then it makes you guys, on both sides of the spectrum, stay rest assured in your laurels and in your views. Damn right, yeah, it's the border, or no, we need to be doing this, and this. Suddenly you lean back, and then all of a sudden, the Allen mass tragedy becomes a distant memory. Instead of us actually doing something right now, proactively, to change things so that we don't lose any more people. Anyway, guys, that's the video. I appreciate all y'all for being here. I do. I really do. Even those that don't agree with me. I get it. Not everybody's going to agree with me. I just want people on this earth to live longer. Okay? Especially our young ones. So I'm going to speak passionately about that. Innocent lives should not be taken because they went down to the street to go buy a new pair of shoes. Okay? Or they were going shopping for their birthday coming up, and they wanted to get a really nice dress or a cute outfit to celebrate the day that they were born. People should not be losing their lives that way. A 5-year-old kid should not be waking up after fighting for their life to find out that their parents and their baby brother are no longer on this planet. No one deserves this type of tragedies in their life. So I will speak about that passionately till my last dying breath. Anyway, guys, I appreciate you guys for coming on. Thank you so very, very much. This stuff gets me heated, guys. We need to change now, quickly. It's just getting worse. It's just getting worse. Please do me a favor, guys. Hit that like button down below. That would really, really mean a lot. I do have 2 pop-up videos coming up very, very soon. So be on the lookout for that. We do have some updates on some other information around this story, but I've been holding those for these pop-ups so you guys have some information as well. So be on the lookout for those, okay? Because they're coming up very, very soon. All right. And of course, so hit that like button. And of course, do not forget, hit that subscribe button. Hit that notification bell so you know when I go live or whenever I upload, because it can be random every day. Okay? That'd be greatly appreciated. Consider hitting that join button down below and supporting this channel. That would really, really mean a lot as well. But anyway, I got to get going. Got some pop-up videos for you guys, so be on the lookout. And of course, we're still waiting on the Letitia Stout verdict. We'll see if it actually happens today or not. But if it does, there will be a video on that for sure. Okay. But anyway, guys, I'll be talking to you guys soon. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. And I'll see you guys very soon. Stay positive out there, guys. This is the Pascal Show. Bye.